Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen, and as usual, I am joined by my co-host, running mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hello, thank you for having me back, Omari. It is always good to be here. I love having this little thing that we have going on where we do a movie club, trading these movies back and forth. This is one of my more fun versions of when we get to do these things. This is the particularly Force and Omari kind of category of my selections. This is my We've discussed it before where you almost avoid Oscar type of movies. And this is fun when I get to really force something upon you. And so I'm excited about it because this week we are watching The Prestige from 2006. PG-13. After a tragic accident, two stage magicians in the 1890s London engage in a battle to create the ultimate illusion, sacrificing everything they have to outwit each other. It is written and directed by Christopher Nolan, and it stars Batman, Wolverine, and Black Widow.
And Alfred. Batman and Alfred even kind of still have a similar relationship of the master apprentice type deal. But yeah, by the way,
Omari, this is 2006, starring Batman and Wolverine. Why have you not seen this?
In all honesty, I'm gonna be honest, because you mentioned the whole avoiding Oscars and stuff like that. That is not why I missed this movie. Like you said, it's Wolverine, it's Hugh Jackman, magician movie. You know, I like magicians and stuff in real life. Not obsessed or anything, but Shin Lim's a really cool
You're not
movie.
someone who's against magic.
Oh no,
Are people who are like, fuck magic.
Oh no. Oh no, I know that it's, foolery or whatever, but I don't need to know how every trick is done. I'm fine with assuming that Shin Lim is just a wizard. And that's fine. He can be a wizard. But he doesn't. He's a wizard.
Yeah.
Let there be some fucking imagination in the world.
Right. Similar to our previous episode with Derek Delgadio.
Yeah.
In and of itself. It's like we don't need to know how he's doing the guessing everybody's I am at the end of the theater. Just say he's a wizard and move on with your day.
Exactly. Very much. Though we did talk about it on this show. Yeah. So this would have intrigued me at the very least when it came out if I knew that premise. However, 2006, not only was I never really watching that big serious Oscar movie stuff, I didn't see a lot of movies in 2006. That's around early college time, and I wasn't going to the movies. I was playing video games, save for 300. But I think that was 2008ish.
Was that like was that arcade time?
Arcade.
I feel like there was an arcade that you were spending a lot of your life at.
Yeah, my friend group down here was founded in that arcade.
Nice.
Based off of Soul Calibur 2. Yep, a game that literally changed my life. But, not to get too far off, I just missed it. I knew other people would reference it. I saw like a scene or two or a clip or two over the years. Didn't spoil anything for me now because it was that long ago. But I'm like,
okay, that was going to be one of my next questions early on.
I would know that. Oh, that's what made me know it was about magic. But somehow in my mind, I also got it mixed up with until I actually saw the movie now twice. I got it mixed up with The Greatest Showman, which is the thing I said saw twice, not Prestige. I've only seen Prestige once. But yes, because it's Hugh Jackman being a big showman on stage. And this movie, I think I had remembered the premise being magician versus magician to see who's the better showman of the two. And then Hugh Jackman's in a movie called The Greatest Showman. So the plot threads of those mixed up in my head once The Greatest Showman got announced. And until I saw Greatest Showman, I just thought they were the same movie. And then I just went back to not getting around to watching The Prestige.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as to what I was... when did you see this? I don't think I asked you.
I saw this brand new.
Brand new when it came out?
Yeah, I saw this brand new when it came out. I was obviously an X-Men fan already. I was a Batman Begins fan, and I had seen Memento at this point and really enjoyed Memento. I'd also seen Insomnia, but I wasn't that crazy about it. But I knew about this guy named Christopher Nolan, and this was also this was prime age for me for being like, I want to find directors. Like, I'm not just looking for the movies I want. I'm looking for the directors I want to follow in life. And everybody was talking about this Christopher Nolan dude. So I was aware of this movie and watched it when it came out. And like you kind of touched on, I'm not a crazy magic guy, but whenever like ABC had a big David Copperfield or later on in our lives, David Blaine, whenever that happened and it was like a big TV event, it was usually something that was put on at like my family's house growing up.
Yeah.
So it was never like a feel like, yeah, you could either hate magic because you're too annoyed with not knowing the solution,
yeah,
and you get frustrated and don't like magic because of that. Or I know some people don't like magic just because it makes them uncomfortable. Like, it's so unnerving to them that they would prefer not, kind of thing. But I'm there in the sweet spot. I would say I enjoy magic. So I was in this movie, and I had not seen it in quite a long time, and was wanting to rewatch it, but wasn't in a rush because I wasn't honestly sure. I don't know. I was like, this could be real. This could be really good, or it could just be okay. I'm not sure. It's lived on my list for our show.
Okay.
For the majority of the history of our show. In my list, it's directly under Bloodsport, as far as I believe chronologically typed out. Okay. So it's lived here for quite a while, and I'm just now picking it because I wasn't sure. It's got all of the right pieces.
Yeah.
But something was like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't quite slap.
My introduction to Christian Bale, as far as I can remember, was The Dark Knight. Not even like Batman Begins. Like,
you weren't even doing Batman Begins.
I had missed Batman Begins because I had heard from the people that I guess the wrong people, because eventually I went back and saw Batman Begins, but I had heard from a lot of people that wasn't that good a movie. But that's probably just comic fandoms being comic fandoms, where the newest movie or nerd geek fandoms in general, the newest thing is always like, unless it's undeniable, usually the newest thing is always the worst thing the franchise has ever done. And even if you said that about the movie 3, you said it about the previous 3 movies, they are old enough now to where, now back then, at least they did this. They got that right. This new shit's terrible. And I heard from that crowd with Batman Begins. So I didn't see Batman Begins. Dark Knight was heavily anticipated by my friends who had seen more Christopher Nolan, Christian Bale movies. And so they were excited to go see Dark Knight. They had heard Joker was going to be real good and stuff. So I kind of looked at a Cliff Notes for Batman Begins and then went to watch Dark Knight and then later watched Batman Begins. But yeah, as to what I was expecting with this movie, yeah. Competition over who's actually the greatest showman, like I said. Which, more or less.
And so you had not. So there's kind of a double layered reveal in this movie for both of our main characters.
Did not know that it happened. I will not put the possibility that others have mentioned it in conversation. I will not put that like as an impossibility. That may have happened. But to have any effect on this movie, no. I was doing it like I've done the majority of the movies on here that I hadn't seen. Don't read the synopsis. Try to figure it out as I go and put stuff together.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, in order to talk about this movie fully, I feel like we would just have to say it. And so no going further if you don't want to get spoiled on this movie.
Correct.
At this point, we'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So in my rewatch of this, I'm actually surprised on, granted, I know what's happening, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. I feel like they're pretty ham-fisted with the foreshadowing of almost everything.
I feel like that too.
How fast were you pretty sure you knew at least the Christian Bale thing?
I'm not gonna lie, the Christian Bale one I didn't notice until right around when until when I was supposed to, which is like for like a couple seconds. I didn't think he was going to die because I looked at the wrong foreshadowing, I guess, because when he's talking to the dude at the prison, because I thought Wolverine had gone too far or whatever, but I'm like, he's taking his daughter, but he used a line, or no, when he was explaining himself to Michael Caine, when Hugh Jackman was explaining himself to Michael Caine, and he's like, you took his daughter and stuff? Oh, she'll be taken care of. Trust me, it'll be fine. And he had said at the prison, I just wanted you to know I'm better than you. I had it in my head, he had also arranged for dude to be broken out. And that's why he had said that. I'm like, he's not gonna die. Or then when he tells the guy, look closely, or he'll just break out on his own. And then what happens, and I'm like. So I was right and wrong. Mainly wrong, but a little right. He didn't. The kid got to see her dad. As far as she knows. And I guess as far as anybody knows aside from the two Christian Bales.
No, he did. She did get to see his dad. Her dad. I mean, what I'm pretty sure on in this viewing is, so what we're talking about is that Christian Bale plays twin brothers in this film.
Yes.
Secret twin brothers. Name of Alfred Bowen. Yes, Alfred Borden. Many speculate that's because the brothers are named Alan and Frederick, and so they take on the moniker of Alfred. But I think that's just so in fandom circles they have ones.
Which one is which one?
They have names to call each one.
But it would also make sense with the Freddy thing.
Right. Oh yeah, exactly. Calling him, getting him called, having Scarlett Johansson call him Freddy. So we think Al is the brother that lives.
Okay.
And he is the one who loved the brunette.
Okay.
And likely fathered the child.
I see.
And then Freddy is the one who hangs. And he's the one who was in love with ScarJo. because in his last moments interacting with Fallon, the fake person that they have created to excuse the other brother's existence all the time, his last conversation with Fallon, he's extremely apologetic about what he did to their wife. And so, yeah, I believe it's, and that's kind of a little bit of just a moral justification, I think, of like, don't feel bad.
Yeah.
This guy, that you saw this guy being a pretty big dick to this woman to the point where she did terrible things to herself. So I think there's a little bit of Christopher Nolan being like, the bad one is the one that gets hung, so don't feel too awful in this.
Yeah.
So okay, so you were able to write out. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was able to write out. Hugh, I put together, I'd say about 15, 20 minutes, or pretty much once they started cloning things, I figured, okay, the clone has got to be part of the whole prestige thing. And my thought immediately went to the beginning of the movie of like, oh, that was probably somehow a clone. I didn't put together exactly, oh, he's boxing every single clone up and got him in a fucking catacomb that he's gonna blow up with his machine. I didn't put that together. But at the very least, faking his own death. But yeah, like we got the opening and Michael Caine talking about like what a prestige is and shit. And I'm like, oh shit, it's Batman versus Wolverine. That's funny. And I'm like, oh, so Batman killed Wolverine for stealing his trick. Also, Bale's accent early on for a second, I'm not used to Bale sounding like that. So I was like, it wasn't bad or anything. It was just so different for me that I was like, huh, and for all I know, that's his actual fucking voice. But
yeah, that's like, the closest he's ever been to his real voice that you've ever heard, probably.
That's what I'm saying. For all I know, that's his actual voice, but it's
a little bit more high pitched. Yeah, his natural voice is. It's really fun because like when he's truly just sitting and being Christian Bale, it's like, oh well, hello, brother, governor. Like I can't do British accents, but it's a much higher register than you ever really picture Bruce Wayne doing.
Yeah, or John Connor. By the time I paid attention to Christian Bale, I only talk like this. 90%. Where is he? Don't start with the head. It's all pussy. But yeah, so I'm like trying to put it together. I'm like, oh, Alfred taught them both. They became rivals. Wolverine stole the trick, and Batman killed him. And they're like, oh shit, he killed his wife, so it's revenge for that. And he shoots him in the head. So this is all just okay. They're just trading revenge the whole movie. Like, by the time he did the hand on the trap and just like, surprise, motherfucker. I'm like, oh, that's what this movie is. Y'all are just gonna keep ruining each other's lives and shows.
Yeah, man, and bouncing around time plots like this. Jesus. This film hops around timelines. Like, I think I read a trivia line a minute ago when I was just waiting for us to meet up here that it was 140
times.
The editing includes 146 time jump cuts in which the next shot either flashes back or skips ahead to another time period in the storyline. This averages to almost one timeline jump per minute of movie. So it's going all over the place.
It really is. And it took me a while to realize. Well, not a while, but it was like, oh, you're just jumping everywhere now. Okay. Whatever. But I liked the touches that they did throughout, like, as they're reading or I'll go ahead and mention a standout moment or whatever.
Yeah. No, yeah, we'll just jump right into standouts, I think.
Yeah. So, obviously, the first one was the death of Hugh Jackman's wife.
Yeah.
Which was definitely foreshadowed with the talking about the tying of the knot.
Yeah, Christian Bale's young and cocky, He thinks he knows some, like maybe if you're a magician, you know what the fuck they're talking about. But and they had a lot of professional magicians on set and in the script working process to make sure, you know,
Mm,
shit's legit and all
yeah.
that. But they're talking about a knot, and yeah, Christian Bale thinks that it should be a different knot, that wins better, and then the
Yeah, it's a tighter knot, and as such, though more risky, it's a better show because it has more risk. It's like, oh, it'll look even better if she slips out of it. She can practice slipping out of it. So what if it's a tighter knot? Well, you can just tie the knot we told you to tie
yeah, Cutter
tightly.
says that knot works fine, but it's not a wet knot.
Yeah.
If it gets wet, it swells, and then she's not going to be able to slip out of it. And then that's exactly what happens.
And then it didn't help that when he showed up at the funeral, dude went, "What knot did you tie?" Had he said he tied the normal knot, he still probably wouldn't have believed them. But at least he would have said that. He would have said he tied it, and it's like, I still hold you responsible, but damn, it sucks. But I think he would have gotten off a lot easier than "I don't know," because with "I don't know," that just is gonna be in his head. You tied the knot you wanted to. You tied the knot you fucking wanted to, and you killed my wife. And you won't even fucking admit it. How could you not know
Right.
what tied?
That's the weird thing is that's like how like I gotta imagine Christian Bale's character is lying in that moment. Because even if he's the brother that wasn't the brother that night,
No, that actually would explain it.
but then he would know. Like they're not like the brother would be like, all right, so fucking blah 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 died. I tried the J knot, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
Cutter said that I wasn't supposed to do that, but that's the better knot. But I tried it, and it
Fair.
fucking died. Like
Um,
they had to have come to that conclusion, or at least at the very least, when he shows up at the funeral and he gets accused, he's gonna then ask his brother at some point, "Did you fucking kill her?"
yeah, I'm gonna say, even if he didn't know it that day, the first time,
He
he
knows
had
by the
to.
second time.
Yeah, by the time he mentions it in his diary, which we find out is entirely farcical. Uh, yeah, he knew. He definitely knew by then. But if he didn't know the first time, I'll give it that, because that also plays into the whole, what's her name saying, "You mean it when you say I love you today. You don't mean it on other days." And this is before he even started cheating on her. And at which point I was like, what is this philosophical shit? You just no, for me, I
The
just thought it
first
was one
scene,
of
the
those.
first scene, they kind of explain it well, where she's like, because she doesn't know what's going on,
She
obviously.
doesn't, and neither do
But
I. So
the first time she's like, I see you don't mean it today. Today is a day where it's magic or it's
yeah,
something else, but it's
yeah, that's what
it's
I'm
not
saying.
it's
I
not
thought it
me,
was
and maybe it's
more.
tomorrow. And
Yeah,
it's done really well. When you know it now, the second time, it feels like they're just screaming it at you. I mean, Christian Bale's very first lines in this movie are,
I don't remember.
"Look closely."
Oh, like he says later in the movie.
um he when Christian Bale's character is showing the birds trick to
Yeah,
what will eventually be his stepson or something, and he
yeah.
goes, "But what about his brother?"
Oh, his nephew.
No, the
No, that
kid
was her.
no,
That kid was her nephew.
oh, well, no, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
the little boy
yeah,
"But what about his brother?" Doesn't
yeah.
matter, that was his nephew.
Yeah, but no, it
uh
was just funny when he was yeah, like you said, like he does it. He killed it. No, he didn't. See, it's back. No, he killed the
Yeah,
bird.
what about the one that was there? That's not the one that was there. And Christian Bale's like, smart fucking, all right, all right,
This kid's got an
all
eye
right.
for magic.
But
All right,
yeah,
well,
that's just foreshadowing Christian Bale, and then when
That is true.
and then when you know what you're looking for, Fallon's character is just screaming, "I'm Christian Bale! I'm Christian Bale in makeup!"
Like, yeah, and now that you mention it, they do disguises and stuff all the time that nobody else around them recognizes them for doing until like the last second.
Mm-hmm.
And it did make sense how I don't know. I like the whole thing, like the way it was going, and how they could both fall in love with the different women because they were two different dudes. So it's
Yeah.
like, is he cheating? Yes, they're both cheating on both women, but they also aren't. It's so weird.
It's very weird. It's very complicated.
But-
It harkens back to a very early scene that I enjoy. Would be a standout moment for me when Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman are still kind of friends before the wife dies, and they go visit that Chinese magician. And that's based on a real person in London of that time who was not Chinese. He was portraying a old Chinese magician in like his 70s or 80s for something like 14 years in London, racking up a massive fortune until suddenly one day when the catching of the bullet trick went wrong, and he said something to the extent of I've bloody been shot. And it was the very first words he had ever said in English in 14 years of stage performance in London. And suddenly like I think he died that night. But at the exact same time, suddenly people were like, wait a minute, he's a 30-year-old white man. So that's based on a real person, but it's also, again, if you know the truth, just foreshadowing, like the glint in Christian Bale's eyes as he's explaining to Hugh Jackman of like, no, that is the trick. It's just him. He exists that way forever, all the time.
It's right though. But yeah, it's just that I also gotta, while we're talking about a guy playing himself but not playing himself, or playing a guy playing himself, we gotta also talk about Hugh Jackman with the Rote thing. Oh, not Rote, Root. Rote is another movie altogether. Root. That guy. It took me a second because at first, when they first showed him, it was Hugh Jackman in makeup. Obviously, he had like a mustache and stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, they found a guy that looked pretty similar. Is that him?" And then he started talking. I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's definitely just Hugh Jackman playing both roles." Okay, because at first I thought they found some dude that just happened to look similar. I'm like, "Oh, they actually found a real life double for Hugh Jackman." Oh no, it's him.
No, yeah. See, the thing that really sets it off into uncanny valley territory and is a very simple addition that you don't realize is a very common feature on most folks that just has never existed on Hugh Jackman, and you've never noticed it. And it's earlobes.
Really?
The man has no earlobes.
Really?
Yes. And so literally the only thing they did is they gave him a different set of front top teeth, and then they put false earlobes on him. Like, if you were to look at Hugh Jackman, it's that.
Oh.
Like, it is a straight line directly to his face.
Gotcha.
And then Rote, has got some lobe action there.
Yeah. Okay, I have good ones. But yeah. That's crazy.
And so it's just that little bit. And then the bigger two front teeth just makes his jaw look a little bit more pointy, a little bit longer, makes the whole face
I
shape.
would say he was able to look just different enough to sell the fact that they were two different people, despite it being Hugh Jackman. Also, he
Hmm.
did a good enough job when he was doing the drunken things, just like, wow. Then he's like making fun of himself. As he's like, oh, look at me, I'm this guy. I'm like, this is fantastic.
You know, it's been a somewhat common theme on this series of you taking of you enjoying watching folks play 3D chess against their opponent. And I think
That's what
this is
this
definitely
movie
a
is.
moment. Yeah, this is these two characters just boom, boom.
Yeah, just, aha.
And Christian Bale's counter move against Hugh Jackman initially stealing the transporting man by hiring Rote and becoming so famous. His move on that is awesome. Just showing up at the bar and being like, obviously you're that, like, pretending that he's the main guy and just being like, watch yourself with those body doubles. They can really control you. Start being really demanding.
Fucking moves the thing to break dude's leg.
Dude, walked with a limp.
Yeah,
I
he walks
forgot
with a
it.
limp
Like there
for
was
the rest of the movie.
for the rest of his life, he's walking with a limp because I guess that's kind of also what happened back then.
Yeah,
Is like, oh, you broke your leg.
that's it.
Do you want us to tear that leg off? Because it's useless now.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a cold? Well, bundle up. 50-50 shot. You're going to die. See ya.
You're not wrong. But yeah,
He walks with a limp for the rest.
then he like, what he like? Fine. Well, I'm gonna kidnap your dude and bury him under the ground, which is crazy. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, we're cranking shit up. He's like, give me your secrets, or your buddy just suffocates to death. Wait, what? And then he's like, well, fine. Here's my secrets. You won't know anything from it though. Oh no, he sent the girl to spy on him, and then she's like, I'm just gonna bring you I brought you the book, but I am falling in love with him. Turns out, I'm just gonna send you back. Give him this notebook. We'll see what happens. And then he's like, yeah. Oh, you need to know what the cipher is? It's Tesla. Yeah, figure that out. Oh, he must mean go talk to Nikolai Tesla to make me a builder. Aha! You went to America for no reason, you idiot.
Oh yeah, well you're the idiot because you're now reading my diary that's fake while you're in prison for killing me. So
Yeah,
what about
yeah.
that?
But yeah, it just so happens that his fake clue turned out to be exactly what he needed to go back with the better version and be like, for my ultimate revenge, I will fake my death, have him be accused for the murder, and then steal his daughter. I'll show you to tie the wrong knot on my wife's feet, and then say you're a better showman than me. I'll show you. Taking your fingers wasn't enough, clearly, and ruining your career, or shortening your career, or constricting your career,
Right.
because hands are very important. But
Yeah,
listen,
we didn't even talk about that one. Where he's trying to make ends meet doing the catching a bullet trick.
yeah,
And Hugh Jackman shows up and fucking
puts a real bullet in the gun and goes, "What knot was it?" Oh god damn it! I don't know. How can he not know? How can he not know? I'm reading the diary and seeing, and I truly didn't know. You'll never know this, but I don't know what happened. How can he not know? That's bullshit. Even reading the clearly bullshit diary, he's like, how can I not know?
How did he not know?
There's no way he would know. And then just both of them getting that trick, like the first the read in the notebook of You reading this right now, sitting there, don't you feel stupid? You're all the way on the other side of the planet. I'm still doing my trick over here. Enjoy America, fool. And then later, yes, you sitting in your cell for my murder, wanted to death. What the? Like, you sons of just, aha, I was Mr. Caldlow. I bought everything myself and took your daughter. Oh, yeah? Well, I was never me. What? Well, like, I was, but so was he. What? Surprise, motherfucker. Here's a rubber ball.
Will you surprise Christian Bale? Because all I ever wanted was for you to respect me for being an actual magician who will go the extra mile for a trick. Look where we are, motherfucker!
Yeah, he's like
99 of me
he's like,
behind me.
They both had this philosophy that the other one knew nothing of sacrifice.
Yeah,
he knows. You know nothing of sacrifice. I know nothing.
Even though he's already killed his wife.
Yeah,
in the service of magic, Hugh Jackman knows nothing about sacrifice.
I'm like, if anyone has anything to say, they didn't, at least until he started losing his fingers from what we knew. If anyone had anything to say about not knowing anything about sacrifice, you know, Hugh Jackman could say that about Christian Bale because Hugh Jackman lost his wife. But then he took his fingers. So now they both technically sacrificed something. But that wasn't enough.
Everything we see of Christian Bale as a magician, he kind of fucking sucks. Like, he kind of sucks, and they're kind of intentionally telling us that the audience is always just kind of like,
we've seen it.
right.
Whatever. Because it doesn't matter if you've seen a trick before. If they do it right, you will always enjoy it. Pick a card has lasted this long. You know your card is going to be in that person's hand, and you know they did some stupid bullshit to put it there. They do it every time. After a while, it's just, did you do it good enough? Am I still like, oh shit, I'm surprised you had my card in that fashion. Damn. But yeah, he was just kind of boring on stage, and they do keep saying that, no, Hugh Jackman, you are the greatest showman. And he's like, I know! It's gonna take a century for people to get that. I won't even be trying as hard. But that is what you, like you said, it is implied that he is not as good of a stage presence and good as whatever, and he didn't improve until Scarlett Johansson went there and started being like,
and like
hey,
gussied up his act.
Hey,
yeah,
I can't give you all of his secrets that you don't already know because he doesn't do that many shit of his own uniqueness, but I can tell you that
you fucking suck and you're boring.
Yeah, you need some showmanship, and I can bring you that. That's gonna increase your audiences. Also, yeah, showmanship. Also true. Also true.
She's not very good in this movie. I don't know why they made her do that English accent. When she came on day one and started doing that, the fact that nobody went like, cut!
Well, she did an English accent because she's in England.
Well, yeah, but Hugh Jackman's not fully committing to an English accent.
It was, yeah, it was British enough.
He's doing a light Hugh Jackman.
What?
It's a light Australian with a little bit.
Is it like light Australian British?
Yeah, it's United. It's in the United Kingdom, I believe. At one point, it's in the British Empire. At one point,
saying, like, just the accent, like a light Australian accent. Isn't that a British accent?
A little bit, yeah, but it's very. I don't know. He wasn't
differences and nuances.
You know, like Christian Bale was putting on like a real brogue or whatever.
Yeah.
And then ScarJo came in with just like a full on Cockney accent, governor. Like, I don't know. I
will agree that whatever decision it wasn't the right one. I will agree with you on that. But I was just like,
you're always so nice. You're always so nice.
I said it wasn't the right decision.
I forgot what I was listening to. I think it was Whatever We Want, where I was just you guys were talking about the fact that I was just tearing into a movie or something, or like we were both tearing into a movie that deserved to be torn into, and
Was
you
it The
made
Greatest
something.
Showman?
No,
Was it
no.
Wanted?
It was maybe like you made some like Jazz was getting a little upset, and you were like, "Now there were some things you were," and you gave him a you gave him a pity point.
It was, if it was recent, it was probably Wanted, because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that was the recent episode.
And it didn't deserve it. It didn't deserve it.
No, I didn't say
But
anything.
I appreciate you for it.
I
You're
didn't say
looking.
anything.
You're always looking for the good in movies and in people, and the world needs that.
I didn't say anything that I didn't believe. I didn't say anything I didn't believe. It does have some good action points, and it is junk food, but it's more of a crystal than it is a White Castle. That's all. To compare places with similar burger types.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what were we talking about?
ScarJo and her
yeah.
accent, but yeah.
Yeah, her accent wasn't no.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably would not be that much better as a
I'm trying to think of other standout moments. Shout out to David Bowie as Nikolai Tesla.
British. Right? I was surprised when I saw that was Bowie. I was like, holy shit. I will say
Yeah.
a lot of the acting in this movie is done superbly, especially like
Yeah.
that shit. I was like, wait, that's David Bowie?
Yeah. Apparently, Nolan had to like personally go to Bowie's house many days in a row to beg / convince him
To be in the movie.
to do this.
That's awesome.
I at first when Andy Serkis popped out of the little tin shack, I was concerned. I was like, "Oh, is this not the one where David Bowie is in it?" Because there's like this same year in 2006, The Illusionist came out,
Okay, see,
starring Edward Norton and somebody else.
that might have been what I got mixed up with this before Greatest Showman became a thing. But yeah, Andy Serkis. Yeah, I saw him. I knew I recognized him, and then later I saw his name. I'm like, okay, that's who that was. But yeah, he's classic as usual. Michael Caine,
Marco Khan.
Master Wayne.
Marco Khan.
But yeah, Bullet Cats, the various tricks and revenges, like we said, just the way they did things. I did like the reveal that the Tesla machine cloned things. It's like, I can't make a teleport, but I'm cloning. And it also ended up making, because the more I think about it, and you talk about their heavy hand fisting of foreshadowing, Michael Caine, the second they go, how does he do this trick? He uses a double. That's literally the only way you can do it like that. No, he's got to be doing something different.
It's better than a double.
Yeah, it's better than a double.
There's only one way to do it, and it's with a double.
And even when Tesla makes a teleporting machine, all it does is make doubles that happen to be in the distance.
Yeah. So it doesn't go to it in super detail, but in the book that this movie is based on, it says that the machine is actually rebuilding you and transporting you and your consciousness to the new entity 20 yards away. The body that exists at the electrical point is now just basically an empty husk in the books.
Okay.
And
it's a living thing. And
it seems to be pretty.
murdered.
It seems to be kind of conscious.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
they still look. It's still a living thing that needs to be murdered in the books as well. The whole
okay.
scenario still happens where they get dropped into the water vat and everything. But it's kind of, I don't know. It's more implied that it's just kind of like a dead.
Yeah, the movie
kind of thing.
also the
Not
way,
a like struggle for life
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, also the way the movie, or the way Hugh Jackman makes it sound near the end of the movie, the the movie
where he
machine
doesn't
is
know if
also
he's going to be.
random which one
Yeah.
you're gonna be, and I was like,
I wonder if
do
that's
you
just
keep
fear
the
of like
memories from
maybe.
before then? And then
Yeah.
you may be also, you may have been.
He's supposed to be keeping the memories, and I'm wondering if maybe that line is just simply stating the fear of like, this is an unknown fucking superpower object. Like, who knows if this is the time that I step in here and it goes wrong,
Yeah.
and then I'm just drowning to death. But yeah, it's quite the turn.
But yeah, I think it is pretty early in the movie where I'm like, or relatively early. I'm not gonna say pretty early, but relatively early in the movie where I realized that last thing isn't exactly the way we're doing. I'm like, okay, there's a chance that dude didn't actually mean to kill him. It happened to be down there or whatever. Like, because of his, I'm part of the act, you fool. I was thinking, like, oh, maybe by the end they start working together and this is all a big misunderstanding. Nope, that's not it either. Okay.
Nope, he was just there to spy on him, and the part of the act thing is just so he can get by security.
Yeah. But yeah, even just the two of them telling each other, or when he's talking to Fallon, now that I think about it, he's like, we'll leave it alone. We're going to stop going. And he's like talking like, which the two people would do if they're alone.
Mm-hmm. I believe that would be Alan.
Yeah.
Because then Freddy, who ends up being the person jailed, again tells Fallon at the end, right before he dies, I'm sorry, you were right. We should have just let it be. I shouldn't have gone back. I should have just let him have his trick.
At which point I was like, but he doesn't talk. Is this one of those things where you got the mute sidekick and then the main character, like, just, that's right, Dave. You're right. We should do this. You're right. We shouldn't have done that. I should have listened to you. That's what I thought was happening. Like, oh, he's just been having the one-way because they mentioned early on, dude doesn't talk. So I also wasn't looking for. I'm like, he hasn't talked. And then he says goodbye. I'm like, oh, maybe they just talked to each other. And dude just kept quiet because I'm a shady magician. Because that's pretty much what it was. I'm the shady alleyway, scratch my way up style magician. Is the professor, as opposed to the great Danton. So that's just what I thought. I thought it was just like, oh, they're shady roots. He don't trust nobody, and no one should trust him. That's how they portrayed themselves the entire fucking movie. Nobody trusted Fallon, and they barely trusted the professor.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that I was surprised by the fact that Bale wins in the end. But
there's two of them.
Kind of needed, but there's two of them, and they both did some fucked up shit throughout the movie. I don't know if the moral scales.
I don't know if Bale wins. I mean, yeah, he does.
He's alive.
I think Hugh Jackman dies satisfied. Honestly,
I do agree with that.
Like, I think he believes that he is justified to his enemy, that he has done something that he could never do. And he's like, I don't give a fuck if big deal, you're a twin. Okay, who gives a fuck? Look what I did behind me. Like, I'm fucking better than you. I've sacrificed more.
I have
Go
had to
fuck
kill
yourself.
myself 100 times just to say I'm better than you. And then you turn around and you're like, well, what's the thing, so-and-so, and you still don't even get the reason why we doing this. Which, you got anything else you want to talk about from the movie?
I'm...
Yeah.
Nope.
As to roles that I would do, I was trying to pick, and I like both characters, but I'd probably say I'd be more wanting to do Hugh Jackman, despite him being
you're Danton, and you're Danton, and I'm the professor. It's fate decided that long ago, Omari.
That too, but I really agreed with his reason for being an entertainer more, even though stealing the dude's daughter was still fucked up. But his reason for entertaining people, I resonated with of the reactions on their faces, getting those smiles, that entertained moment, making people laugh or whatever emotion I'm trying to get out of them. Or
Bale wanted to be the best magician, and Hugh Jackman wanted to be an incredible wanted to be the best entertainer, and his route there was through magic.
That's a good way to put it.
And then also while on his route there, developed a rivalry where he was like, I'm gonna make this dude eat my shit.
Well, yeah, he killed his wife in his mind.
Not his mind, he did.
Well,
he did. He killed his wife.
As far as he's concerned, it was intentional, I guess.
We, the audience, see them redo the knot. We also see the audience. We see his wife agree to it. There is a very silent eye contact and nod of consent, very apparent from Hugh Jackman's wife in that scene. There is a eye contact with Christian Bale. You're wanting to do it? Okay. Let's do it.
I might have gotten a text or something when that look happened. I missed that look. When I looked up and I saw like camera cuts happening, I assumed it was dude kissing his wife's leg again.
As I said, it is a silent nod.
Yeah.
But I do believe it is a nod of consent from that character to say, yes, do the knot that you're always obsessed about doing.
Yeah. And so they did it, and he died. So yeah, he killed his wife intentionally, accidentally, intentionally, like intentionally 0.5 or something. But yeah, he did that. But no, I like the Hugh Jackman's reason for being an entertainer more. I like getting reactions out of people, especially smiles and amazement.
For sure.
So yeah, final thoughts. I'm sure you enjoyed the movie. I believe you mentioned that you really enjoyed the movie. And I do as well. I like the principle behind them using a double and the two of them them both doing the two roles thing. The two roles that are both pretending to be one role while being two roles. Whatever. It sounds weird when I say it, but if you watch the movie, the principle of them both doing that as actors, I liked.
Mm-hmm.
And the storytelling, while the time jumps did get a little bit excessive in parts, because like you said, it was like every other minute, I still remembered that this is 2006 that this movie came out. That wasn't nearly as abused of a movie trope, and could have been considered experimental at the time. And so I was like, yeah, that's cool. So I enjoyed it. Nolan didn't do Inception, did he?
Yeah.
He just does that in his movies, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's kind of
in the Batman movies too, I think. In a couple of them, at least.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, that's kind of one of his things. Yeah, is playing with timelines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he also director tropes.
He also did Interstellar.
True, I didn't see that one. Not
the other
555, but Interstellar.
Right. You haven't seen the other Interstellar.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it. That's pretty much my final thought. Great suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest movie ever made. It's not even any. I don't even think it was. It was nominated for a couple of Oscars, like some cinematographies and one other, I believe. Didn't win anything. I don't know if it necessarily needed to. It's a decent movie.
Yeah.
For this kind of movie, it's not. I think Christian Bale does a good job, but he's not asked to do anything that insane, stretching the boundaries of his talents like we've known him capable of doing. This is mostly Hugh Jackman's movie, I would say, as far as just like screen time, acting chops, shots.
He's kind of presented as the main character. and Christian Bale's presented as the villain, but they're both villains.
I did enjoy. I enjoy the film. I think, although it is intense and all over the place and happening a lot, I do think it tracks. Like, I'm able to keep track of what's going on and where we're at, despite it moving around a lot, which is even more of a credit, I think, to Christopher Nolan.
Like I do.
That he's able to keep that going.
It works with that movie especially.
And then I was not a fan of ScarJo's performance in this film. I didn't remember it being as bad as that.
I wasn't impressed, but I was unbothered.
But this is a little early in her career, and so there's lots of room after this for her.
Everybody starts from somewhere. Ice-T started with New Jack City.
Yep. This is true.
So yeah, that's that. So what are we watching next week? Did we come to a conclusion of what we were watching next week?
No, we did not.
Oh, okay.
We talked about some things. You asked me if I had something, and I said I could have something.
Oh,
but you also named a couple of things.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I named those, and then I had asked you that, and then I thought that we, in our conversation afterwards, had to come across something. So,
well, fuck it, we're gonna do the one that I asked you about most recently because I'm in the mood to rewatch it, so we're gonna watch it here. School of Rock.
School of Rock, Jack Black. Yeah. Good old Jack Black. I still need to see his most recent movie.
No, you don't.
I've had people tell me I do.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Mario.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that is really shocking how good it is.
The critics may have hated it, but apparently the fans love it.
Yeah, I've heard.
So
I've heard.
I need to give it a shot.
Like, and considering so many of us were geared up going there to be like, fuck this fucking movie and the fucking people they cast, and I'm so ready to be shitting on this turd when I get home. Yeah. And then all of them came out of the theater and were like, oh, actually, this is pretty awesome.
Yeah. To not use the White Castle and Crystal thing. Whatever your favorite fast food places, that's what this movie is. It's like, oh shit, I'm gonna go get some blank. That's what this movie is. It's not necessarily, it's still not healthy for you. It's still junk food, because junk food is shit like that the critics don't like. If you don't understand that, people, that's critically not a good movie. But it doesn't matter. I enjoy it, or other people. There's plenty to enjoy. Don't go there expecting.
And the fact that there's like a post-credit scene and like,
oh, is there?
Oh yeah, to start the Mario universe.
Oh, okay. Well, fair. I've gotten so used to post-credit scenes that I watch the credits now.
Oh yeah.
I just sit in the movies and watch the credits. Maybe there's a post-credit scene. Maybe there's not. I don't know. I don't read the credits.
I mean, it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's exactly like, it's picture a slow push in on an egg colored green and white. Suddenly, that egg trembles a little bit. Trembles again. You hear the subtle hints of the beginnings of what could be a crack. Cut to black. Yochi! And then
that'd be cool.
And then lights up in the theater.
That'd be cool. People would lose their shit. They lost their shit at the end of Sonic 2 for a similar type of scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so there you go. Next up, we're watching School of Rock. If you want to watch other stuff of ours, follow the channel, subscribe to the channel. We got a playlist of it right here. We got new episodes every week, every Tuesday. If you want to see me elsewhere on YouTube, I am on the Whatever We Want podcast. It was name dropped on the show. We do it with a good friend of mine and good friend of the show, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz! I'm coming for you! I'm coming for you, Super Jazz! I'm coming for you!
ass. I'm gonna get it. You won't have me on whatever you want because you're too scared. You're too scared to have me on whatever we want. But I'll tell you whatever I want. I want your ass. I challenge you, Super Jazz. I challenge you.
You know, I think he said he saw he's seen Malignant, so he probably will watch the Malignant episode where this whole little I challenge you Super Jazz thing started. Anyway, that's it. Episodes of Recap Tuesday. I also have other shit. I think Phil said what he wanted to say. You guys have a good one. Adios, dudes.